Greetings, greetings. Good morning. Shout out to all of my early risers, sending you all warm, positive vibrations. So I wanted to tune in this early day for those folks that are really taking advantage of these wee hours to really hear your own divine intelligence and to tap in to the clarity that the early morning hours provide before it's really noisy outside, before people start talking, before the phone starts ringing, before you start dealing with clients or your work. To me, this is the best time of the day, are the wee hours. So this morning, as I'm moving around, cleaning, I'm preparing to work with some folks and for my own movement practice, I was just considering, stopping to think, are you giving yourself the very best? So hold on. Because the very best for me, one of the very best things is tea and Jamaican lime, right? And really beautiful filtered water. So this is Body-Culinary. If you're new to my page, on this page, I share motivation and some of my own experience on my journey with kinky, cottony, very fine Afro-textured hair, what I'm terming Afro locks. Also, if you're interested in starting a beginner garden, you have some inspiration and motivation and support to do so. Feeding yourself the best possible foods, which I call peaceful consumption, peace to your own womb, arteries, brain, body, temple. Encouragement to cultivate a personal movement practice. You can call that exercise, but some form of consistent movement that motivates you, right? And that is a big part of our health insurance. So between food, gardening, and natural fitness, so that your body, this intelligent body temple, can fall to and adjust to a very natural, healthy weight. The body is very, very intelligent and knows what to do when we just stop stuffing it with substances that are masquerading as food. So in any event, I was just contemplating, are we giving ourselves the very best? And when we think of the very best, we often just jump directly to the clothes that we're putting on our back. I like nice things too. I like travel. But are we skipping over the breath? Do we consider deep breathing as giving ourselves the very best? Do we consider food that is prepared by our own hands, right? With the energy and attention of, you know what? I'm going to take the time to prepare food for myself. That is, I'm going to prepare it as beautifully as I can. I'm going to serve it in the most beautiful containers, that it's going to be the very best. Do we ever consider that we can give ourselves the very best because we know exactly what we want? And if we've cultivated a habit or a practice of giving ourselves the very best, then it is so much easier to set the standard and to draw that energy to us from others, right? And I mean beautiful food, not just in what it looks like, where it's unhealthy food, but it has some really pretty red sauce on it. But it is also what I like to call beauty food. Are you eating foods for, and this is different than dieting, are you eating foods for longevity, for your mood, for your vitality, right? So if we're consuming energy and food, physical food, with longevity, energy, vitality, and mood as a focus, then already the food choices can line up because your divine intelligence will guide you towards what foods are appropriate for your body. So it becomes quite easy, and just the idea of it, the paradigm of coming from eating for beauty, vitality, longevity, and mood, you can already draw the pictures into your mind, what that looks like, what that feels like, if it's going to be colorful or if it's going to be charred, or burnt. Will it have fiber? Will the food make you create a state of beauty, peacefulness, right? Within your own body? Do the foods that you eat, or are they foods that have a lot of flavoring, but they make your body very irritated, very clogged? They are more what I call the party in your mouth, but they really jack up your skin. And I'm saying that as someone that's had a lot of acne before. Does it cause your body to just pack on a lot of adipose tissue? Does it cause you to really stuff down? And does it really cover up pent up emotions or emotions that we don't want to feel, that we don't want to allow to come up and to pass away, just like clouds? So there's a litmus test. Perhaps we can refine the litmus test for the types of consumption that we are prioritizing, because the litmus test is, how does the food or the consumption, how does it make you feel? And that definitely does include what we are watching. I have observed, and you can let me know if you've experienced this respectfully in the comments, that right now it can be extremely addictive, almost in a, I don't know if I want to use there's a certain kind of word I want to use, but very mindful of the words I choose to use. But we can be addicted and enticed to watch things that are mentally and emotionally painful, even if they're not happening to us. They're very, very triggering things, and it's almost like an addiction in today's climate. And in the quiet hours, I reason like that doesn't make sense. So what I call the backdoor mentality, how certain things come through the back door. Politics, violence, things that are very scary. We can have a tendency, I realize that we can have a tendency to be addicted to them, because it's almost like we have to keep our eye on them and keep watching them to see what their proximity is to us in order to keep ourselves safe, right? Because again, there's that primal part of our psyche and our brain that its primary function is to keep us safe. So isn't that interesting? We are so focused on things that are disturbing to us, but almost, this has just been my personal observation, as if keeping an eye on it. If we watching, with this thing that is dangerous or that is harmful, that can cause us pain, if we keep our eye on it, perhaps somewhere in our the primal part of our brain, we are rationalizing that we can keep it in a far off proximity from ourselves. So that's just something I was reasoning with. And also, are you making time to give yourself the best food? Again, the backdoor mentality. We may think that the chips, I used to be popcorn and potato chip, in particular barbecue, potato chip process, right? I have an interrupt in terms of what a potato chip is. But we may perhaps feel that we're giving ourselves something soothing. And I can remember the crunch and the crispiness in my mouth, and the just how flavorful those chips were. And I went from this flavor to that flavor to all the way to the organic barbecue potato chips. But I was really looking, it's interesting to feel something and to have an experience of pleasure with these chips. But they definitely left my skin looking jacked up. They didn't make me feel better. It didn't make me feel more vital. It didn't provide any kind of water or electricity, right? Most of our body is what? Water, and living water. So there's no water inside the chips. And actually, there's a lot of refined sodium that is going to make our bodies retain lots of water. So it was a party in my mouth, and it was very pleasurable, short term, but it left me at a deficit energetically. It didn't give, and it was artificial. It didn't have any staying power. As a matter of fact, it had me on a whole show, because I would have to keep going out to buy more potato chips. So are we perhaps consider that less is more, to maybe perhaps spend a little bit more, even though it may seem like, perhaps maybe if times are more tighter, you have to pay more attention to your spending plan, that eating the food that is not only beautiful, but that is going to create a beautiful state. See how that's not dieting? That's going to create a mental state. What does that do for you, knowing that you had a smaller portion, but the smaller portion contained a lot more quality water. It contained a lot more antioxidants and nutrition firsthand, rather than sitting on a shelf indefinitely for years, that it is pretty to look at. And the fragrance and the aroma of the food is delicate and pleasurable. It's not the hard hit of the MSG and the artificial flavorings, but the subtle aromas of the plants, right? And these plants are giving their lives to become a part of us and to hydrate us, and our organs recognize them. How do you feel if right now, if I had to take a plate right now, I just have my tea, my hot tea / ginger lemon water. If I were to have and fill this cup up with potato chips and have another cup with the barbecue ones, very flavorful and organic, and a big thing of blueberries, right? One we're going to be drawn to for the flavoring, but can we really truly say that it's nourishing us? Right. And I'm saying this to somebody that's, the experience of food is very essential, but on what level is it? Very much a superficial level. And if our mentality is, I'd rather go for the thing that is short term, that doesn't have any staying power, just gives me a quick hit of flavor, but it's taking a lot of energy for my body to digest and to process it. And it has hydrogenated oils and things that right now that we know have a negative effect on the body. And most likely, if something is pleasurable, we're not going to do it just once. Can we truly say that we are giving ourselves the best? So that's the early morning reasoning that I'm just moving around with this morning. So I'm just going to take a few moments to just explore some deep breathing and see how that affects our mood and set the tone for the day. So you're welcome to take a comfortable position. You're welcome to add a yoga block underneath your glutes to give you more height, or to perhaps open up your hips. You want to make sure that your spine is nice and tall. Your belly button is slightly drawn in, and your chin is not computer neck. It's not jutting out. That your cervical spine is in alignment with the rest of your spine. Your eyes can be closed or open. You can place your hands anywhere that feels comfortable for you. And we're looking to listen to the breath and be present with the breath inside of this vehicle, this body temple, to hear if our breath is even and long and deep. And we're breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. All right. So, how does it feel just to take a few moments just to deep breathe and relax? No religion required, no guru required, no middleman is required, a woman. So, this is perhaps a good time to ask a question of your own onboard divine innate intelligence that each of us was born with. If there is a challenge or a vice or something that you're working on, a project even perhaps that you're working on or working through, this could be a good time to ask yourself if something is missing, what do I need to focus on? Is there anything else that I need to do? Is there anything I need to take a step back from? Right? It's also a good time to write a few words or even a few sentences inside of your journal. So I have my journal right here. And this is a wonderful time also to set the intention for your day. And it can also be helpful to notice, are you able to stay focused on your intentions for yourself, what you would like to manifest in the most practical way? Are you able to keep a focus on honoring your word to yourself? What do you want to do with your life? How would you like to spend this day? Is the day full of health, right? Do you have the supplement or the nutrient of joy in your life? Are you making time specifically for things that are joyous with? And that's a state of being. So you're doing something every day. So as we change our mood, curious, does this have an effect on how we are nourishing ourselves and what we are choosing to eat, the choices that we're making for ourselves? When you're in a state of joy, I know for me that the last thing I'm thinking about is food, right? The last thing, let's say, for example, if I'm doing African dance, which by the way is coming up in the cocoon. But if I'm dancing and I'm dancing vigorously, or I'm doing some type of movement practice, the last thing I want is food or anything weighing me down from being in the present, in my body, and experiencing joy. So where do we put the physical food? Where is its place in our life? It has a place, but where is its place? And are we overcompensating with food for other things that perhaps we've been saying we want to get started on, and we haven't taken it on, and we have all kinds of rationalizations and excuses for why we haven't started? Or mentally, are we eating out of nervousness somewhere in the back of our mind, knowing that there's something that I should be doing that I know, not anybody else, that I should be doing, or more than should, that I really want to explore, but I'm not exploring it? So these are perhaps some things to just ask ourselves why, and to really, really listen. When you cultivate a craving for quiet, you can hear more of that communication from your own onboard divine innate intelligence. So, with that, I'm inviting you to create a great day on purpose because you said so. For those folks that are going to be joining me in the cocoon, you want to be getting ready with getting your tools ready, dusting off your juicer, and you're creating your movement space because that is coming up. All right, folks, feel free to subscribe to the channel and to share it with someone that you know could benefit. And feel free to play this video to create a good circle of support and circle of influence for yourself, perhaps while you're decluttering, or while you're washing the dishes, or while you're beautifying your space. All right, y'all. See you soon.